Welcome YouTube to Complete Lifestyles, where we focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Nobody's perfect, but we can all strive to become complete as individuals. So, today's video, Trump wins the election. I want you to like, comment, share, subscribe. I want to know your opinions. I'm going to go over a few articles and then give you my thought process, because like I said, I didn't want to give my opinion before the election. I don't like swaying people, and plus politics and religion is something I try to stay away from, but we're going to tackle it today. So Trump wins the election. What to know? CBS News projects former President Donald Trump with the win in the presidency, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris to become the 47th President of the United States. CBS News projection for Trump in Wisconsin put him over the finish line early Wednesday morning after early projections for Trump winning the battleground states of North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania. CBS News estimates Trump will surpass the winning electoral vote threshold of 270 by 21 votes for a total of 291 after clinching Michigan. Votes were still being counted in several other states. Trump declared victories in a speech to supporters early Wednesday morning alongside his family and running mate Senator J.D. Vance. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president, Trump said at his election headquarters in Florida. And every citizen, I will fight for you and your family and for your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you with every breath of my body. At 78, Trump will be the oldest president to ever assume office. Harris didn't speak at all on election night, foregoing her planned event at Howard University. She addressed not only supporters, but also Howard University students on Wednesday afternoon, urging the emotional crowd, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. Republicans also had success in some key Senate races, and CBS projects that GOP will gain control of the upper chamber. Control of the House remains undetermined, with votes still being counted in numerous races. So, like I said, 291 to 222 was what Trump won with. Now, some Harris backers pointing fingers at Joe Biden for her loss. As Democrats pick up the pieces following the president-elect Donald Trump's decisive victory, some supporters of Vice President Harris are expressing frustration that President Biden waited until the summer to step out of the race despite long-standing voter concerns about his age and unease about post-pandemic inflation as well as the U.S.-Mexico border. They say the delay all but sealed his party's loss in the White House. So that is kind of the results. Now, let's go here. What happens to Trump's criminal and civil cases now that he has been re-elected? Donald Trump has been reelected to the White House, as I just mentioned, as a convicted felon who is awaiting sentencing in his hush money case in New York and still working to stave off prosecution and other state and federal cases. It's an extraordinarily unique position for him to be in. Never before has a criminal defendant been elected to the nation's highest office, just as an ex-president had never been criminally charged until last year. Trump has said multiple times he plans to fire special counsel Jack Smith and end the federal case against him for trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election and mishandling classified documents. As of Wednesday, Smith is in active talks with the Justice Department leadership about how to end the federal cases against Trump. A DOJ official familiar with the discussion told CNN it clearly paid off to aggressively push to delay these cases as long as possible. In the meantime, a judge in New York is set to sentence the former president later this month after holding off on handing down punishment ahead of election day to avoid an appearance of affecting the outcome of presidential race. So let's just take that for a second. You're trying to sentence somebody who is running for president, and instead of sentencing them, which could potentially be jail time, we push it off to allow him to run the presidential race. Just keep that here. We're gonna push that off. Trump's lawyers are expected to ask the judge to put off sentencing now that he's president-elect. Trump has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Here's what to know about the 4 criminal cases. Trump is scheduled to appear, like I said, in New York, the courtroom, November 26th. He received conviction earlier on 34 counts of falsifying business records to cover up hush money payment made in 2016. Whether the sentencing happens at all remains in question. Now we're wondering if the sentencing is even going to happen. Trump's legal team is going to try to make sure sentencing does not occur in the past, as it has been focused on delaying proceeding in the case, but now it is going to try to get it canceled altogether. Trump's attorneys are expected to enter a filing in the coming days, arguing that the president-elect he is entitled to the same constitutional protections as a sitting president and should be protected from any action by state prosecutors. So once you get to a certain level, this is about playing the game. You should be protected from any action by state prosecutors. So it doesn't matter what you did, you should be protected. That's where we are now. So the filing is expected before Judge Juan Merchan's self-imposed deadline of November to decide whether to wipe away Trump's conviction because of Supreme Court decisions this summer granting a president some president immunity. If Merchan decides to wipe away the conviction, the charges would be dismissed. Trump would not be sentenced. But if the judge decides to keep the conviction intact, the former president's lawyers are expected to ask Merchan to delay sentencing so they can appeal. If that's not granted, his attorneys are planning to appeal the immunity decision to state appellate courts and potentially all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to ask courts to delay Trump's sentencing in the appeal. No, I kind of want to go. Any sentence, of course, will be complicated with the fact that Trump is set to take office in January. Trump's lawyers are likely to shape their appeals to raise constitutional issues challenging whether a state judge can sentence a president-elect, which could tie the case up in court for years. Since the state is in the case, Trump does not have the power to pardon himself next year after he is sworn into office. So, just want to read this last part. Should Merchan move ahead with sentencing, Trump could be ordered to serve as much as 4 years of prison time. So you got to think about it. He might become president and then be sentenced to 4 years of prison. Keep that in your mind. I'm move with me now. Donald Trump, a twice impeached former president, get ready to be president again, is facing multiple criminal investigations and charges as he is denying wrongdoings and saying he is being politically persecuted. The support for his comeback bid appears to be driven in part by voters who say they would cast a ballot for him even if he faces additional charges. Now, I got one more to read to you. It was supposed to be everything short of a free ad, a panel of women containing the excitement for a welcome Kamala Harris. It was a moment that encapsulated one of the biggest challenges facing her campaign. So, what, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years? Co-host of ABC The View asked Harris, looking to give her a set for her to spike over the net. There is not a thing that comes to mind. So let's get into it, guys. Trump won the election. Everybody's trying to finger point on Kamala Harris's side, whether it was Biden, whether it was her, whether it was her issues, her topics, a lot of things. A lot of people saying, I saw plenty of commercials. Oh, she used to throw black men in jail. Oh, well, she's going to get transgender surgeries for people in prison. It was a lot of different things as to why. Oh, well, they picked her late. She wasn't the best candidate. Whatever the reason was. But my point is to read all of that information and get into the subconscious of people. And in my honest opinion, based on what I just read, people would rather put a guy who is convicted into the office versus somebody who didn't see anything wrong with how the last 4 years was run. Is that a we would rather we're still not ready as a society to put a woman in office? And just this is thought process. I don't know. But to say we would rather vote candidate A, who has all of these things going on and could potentially face up to 4 years in jail, versus candidate B, who doesn't have a history of anything, but people are worried about how she would run the office based on comments, based on decisions that she's made, based on things she has done while before she got into this position to run for president. So that's my opinion today, guys. I just want you to think about it subconsciously. I don't know if we're ready as a society for a woman to win the election. It has been twice that a woman has ran. We have not put her in office. Me, myself, I stay out of politics. I mean, I'm open. I just want whoever gets in the office to make actual changes to affect us as a people positively, whether it's with our jobs, whether it's with the rules that are being ran and governed, whether it's with our relationship with other countries, not having war, things of that nature. I want everything to be as smooth as for the people as it can be. So that's my opinion today, guys. Just to kind of focus on the thought process. Trump did win. It is what it is. We're going to move forward. I hope that he does a great job. Enjoy your day, guys.